This is an explanation on what is the recovery room at Aurora Middle School. The recovery room, what is this? It's a place to deal with low-level behaviors, get disruptions out of the classroom, and provide students the opportunity to reflect, adjust, and improve. The recovery room model also provides explicit behavior instruction through the debriefing process. The goal of the recovery room. The goal of the recovery room is two-tiered. Tier 1, preserve the learning environment. Tier 2 helps students manage low-level behaviors before they turn into high-level behaviors. The process. A student gets sent to the office for distracting or disruptive behavior. The student is either kept in the office for further investigation or discipline or sent to the recovery room. The student finishes the period out in the recovery room, calls parents at the end of that period, and goes on with the rest of their day. They will debrief with the teacher immediately after school. The parent will pick up their student at 3:45 p.m. on normal days and 2:15 p.m. on early out Wednesdays. The student hands the parent their white copy of the debriefing form. We do have a copy of that form coming up shortly. So what is the recovery room? What it is a place for students to decompress. It's a place for students to reflect on behavior, and it's a place for students to finish their work independently. What the recovery room is not: a place for one-on-one assistance with classwork. If students need more time to complete work, they should come to the 10th period room the following morning. A time to go to the restroom, locker, media center, etc. And the recovery room is not a time to call home. Students will do that at a designated time. And it's not a time to nap or pout. The recovery room is also not discipline, and it's not intended to be discipline. In fact, it is intended to be a behavioral intervention that prevents discipline. Student expectations in the recovery room. Take your seat at a workstation and continue working on classwork. Be quiet. Be respectful. Sit up straight. Be prompt to your debrief with the teacher. Work diligently both in finishing your work in the recovery room and during your debrief with the teacher. Student expectations. Failure to comply with student expectations at any stage of this process will result in an office referral. Now, parent expectations, this is what you can expect if you have a student that is placed in the recovery room at any point during the day. You will get a phone call from your student explaining where they were in the why they were in the recovery room today for the disruptive behavior. Your student will be ready to be picked up at 3:45 p.m. on normal days or 2:15 p.m. on early out Wednesdays. And your student will have a copy of his or her behavior debrief sheet to review with you after school. This will be a white copy. After school timing. The debriefing times are 3:30 to 3:45 on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and 2 to 2:15 on early out Wednesdays. If parents aren't able to pick up their child at the above listed times, the student will be in the pride room until the parent arrives for pickup. So now some what ifs. What if a student doesn't show up for their debriefing? The office will call to inform a parent that their student did not show up. The student will be expected to show up at 8 a.m. the following morning to debrief with the teacher. What if the student doesn't show up to the after school debriefing or the before school debriefing the next day? The student will be in school suspension, and a debriefing will be scheduled with the teacher at some point during the day. Now, this is a copy of the debriefing form. And this is our general guidance for this process. And you can read through this as you would like, obviously. And this is largely based on the Boys Town behavioral intervention model. Recovery room, the focus. Now, in this, we must remember that the focus is the behavior, and it is not the kid. And we believe that behavior is so important, it can literally change the course of a person's life. If we all work together, we can positively affect that change together as all of Aurora Middle School, as we are all Aurora Huskies and we are all Aurora Middle School. Again, that was the description of the recovery room process at Aurora Middle School.